we left after 8 from Bucharest. We were going whole night through, of course, Romania, Bulgaria, and now Turkey. So probably about 8 a.m. we will finally reach our final destination, which is Istanbul. So it was a very long way, 4 days on the way just to reach Istanbul. Istanbul traffic, as you can see. Right now we are in the European side of Istanbul actually. It's Beylikdüzü, close to Beylikdüzü, between Avcılar and Beylikdüzü districts, which are actually quite far from the center. I would say like at least 30 to 40, maybe even 50 kilometers from the center, let's call it like that. What else can I say is that when you come firstly to Turkey, especially to Istanbul, you have to prepare yourself that the traffic is probably very, very different from what you may know from different countries, especially if you are coming from Poland. Like one of the things that, you know, for me it's still quite okay because I used to live here for several years, so I really made probably thousands of kilometers in car and also on the bike in Turkey in general. So it doesn't surprise me that much, but prepare yourself that for a lot of cars. Also, Istanbul has officially I think around 16 million of people, but unofficially there are probably more than 25 million people living here. You really have to be prepared for anything here. Just look around. People may not use the indicators sometimes. They can change the lanes quite aggressively, and also often the right lane can be blocked by parked cars. So be prepared for that. And unfortunately, if you stick to the right side all the time, it may not work. As like I said, there may be some kind of obstacles on the way, some parked cars and so on. So I don't encourage you to go from the left lane, of course, to the middle lane, but be prepared for that sometimes it may be the necessity. And I know that a lot of people are getting criticized for that when they are watching some videos where someone is going through the middle lane or something like that, but actually this is the reality here. Also, you have to be careful about the traffic flows because people think that you don't need to be that much careful here. I would say you have to be, maybe even more than in Europe in some cases, as now there are a lot of cameras. So for example, the traffic lights, also the speed tunnels where they measure your speed, so you have to be very cautious about that, especially in Istanbul on many ways. And as you can see, the motorcycles can pass from any side. It's quite chaotic, but it's still doable, just you have to be very cautious. So a small update from Istanbul. Today we are in Beşiktaş, right? Not Beşiktaş, in Bomonti.
We are in Bomonti.
Yeah, so he's Serdar, by the way, a friend of mine.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Serdar. We have a match tonight. There is a young boys party at night.
So like I said, that interesting fact is that we were talking nearly like 10 years ago about it, that I will buy this car one day and actually come to Turkey.
That's true.
And it totally by coincidence. I even didn't know that you are still in Turkey actually. I just sent him a photo that, I mean, he couldn't believe that it's true. And yeah, here's the MX-5. And what are
There's
you?
a beer factory in Bomonti. There. It's Bomonti beer factory.
Because many people who travel to Istanbul, they don't know Bomonti. It's not that much popular among tourists, yes?
It's great. We are trying to keep it secret. So don't tell anyone. Just you.
So it's almost my last day in Istanbul, and actually I had this chance to meet a friend of mine, Anthony, and his mother. They are from Venezuela, but they live in Turkey. So it may be also interesting to share some experiences of living in this city, living in this country, especially taking into consideration that they are also coming from Caracas, which is, I think, kind of similar to Istanbul, yes, in some ways, but also different. So, hola, ¿qué tal?
¿Todo bien? Aquí, feliz de tenerte.
Sí, me grabaron un video y puedes decir unas cosas como es la vida en Istanbul para ti, venezolanos.
Para mí la vida en Estambul es maravillosa. Yo estoy enamorada de Estambul. Me gusta mucho Estambul y la siento que es económica. Me gusta mucho su fruta, su verdura, todo.
She's in love with
Gracias, gracias, Vin.
And I'm in love in Istanbul because now I'm the father of a Turkish dog. It's here. And well, yeah, now I'm married to this country because of my dog. And I like it.
So, Anthony, how is it going in Turkey, in Istanbul?
Everything's going fine. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm getting my stuff done, and I'm happy. I'm doing well.
How could you, let's say, compare the traffic in Caracas and Istanbul?
Yo creo que es igual. I think that is the same.
Caracas también se hace mucho tráfico.
I think that is the same. It's a big city.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Istanbul is a big city, Caracas is a big city. It's the same.
Okay.
A lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of traffic. We don't have as many animals outside, like you can see here in Turkey, like a lot of cats.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. The rest is the same. Even the people. We are also friendly. They are friendly. We don't shout though. We don't shout that much.
Like, I never had a chance actually to be in Caracas yet, but
It's also a very chaotic city. Like, you have to be careful when you're walking around. It's the same like here. You have to watch your back.
so how do you think? Could you like compare the safetiness, let's say, of these two cities?
No. Istanbul is safe. Turkey, in general, is a safe country. Venezuela, I wouldn't say that that is a safe country. But here, it is. That's the main difference.
So today is actually the last day of my trip. I just stopped for a short breakfast at local coffee shop. It's called Kahve Dünyası, so it means the world of coffee. I really recommend you checking it out. It's a rather like a network of coffee shops around Turkey, but they are still quite decent. Many people also are wondering about the prices in Turkey, especially in the time of this huge inflation. So I think it's still not that bad. Actually, I paid for this relatively big sandwich with some vegetables and white cheese, an Americano. Plus I got some chocolate from a very nice cashier.
or let's say barista, and I paid around 21 zlotych, which is around $5, maybe less than $5. Yeah, so the time is 8 a.m. Actually, I'm going to wash the car, put the fuel, check the tire pressure, and then probably I'll be just moving to the border, but I'm still not sure will I go from Greece or from Bulgaria. So I'm still thinking, I still cannot decide, let's say, because I'm not sure about the way. As I heard that there are some cases in Bulgaria when people are getting some kind of fake penalties, etc. And I'm a bit afraid of that. But on the other hand, if I go from Greece, the way is a bit worse, and also it's at least 3 up to even 5 hours longer way. Plus I will have to also go through Macedonia. But on the other hand, my vignette, it turns out that it's already finished. I mean, no, actually it's not finished, but it will finish tonight. So I don't have that much time. Probably I would need to buy another vignette for at least one day, I guess, because I will not go directly right now. Actually, I will still spend some, let's say, couple of hours in Istanbul. Yeah, so maybe it's some kind of sign. I don't know yet. And yeah, we'll keep you updated. So I'm going to pick up Miata right now. She left it in this kind of car park. It wasn't that much expensive, as you can see here. Around $2 for a half day. No, I think even less than that. Probably around. There you go. Here's the Miata. I prefer to leave it here, as it is a bit more secure than living on the street. It's the whole luggage I have, so my luggage and one backpack. Okay, so it's a bit messy here. Actually, I could have cleaned a bit before going, so I have some tools here on the way just in case something happens, so that I can hopefully fix it myself. It should be fine actually. Right, so that's all. I'm going to take the backpack with me, and that's all. So in case you are wondering how does it work in this case, actually, well, in general, I would really recommend you leaving your cars only on the, let's say, governmental car parks, like for example East Park in case of Istanbul. This one is not actually East Park, but it also belongs to the government, and the way you pay it is with this thing called in Turkish HGS, so HGS also. And this is something like a vignette that you can use in Turkey for paying for the road, so it automatically just takes the payment from your account. What else? So like I said, the costs are $4 for a day, not that much. In case of East Park, interestingly, it was almost a double, so unfortunately it was much more expensive. I wouldn't recommend leaving it at some kind of, let's say, private car parks, because they tend to have a few times even higher prices than what the government does. Plus, to be honest, I don't trust that much. I had actually one weird incident. Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend. So I just cleaned Miata just before the way. It was a bit dirty actually. Got some dust over the week in Istanbul. Interesting fact is that those kind of, let's self-service car washes, let's call car washes, not very popular in Turkey, but I found one here in Üsküdar in Harem, very close to the coast, at this local petrol station. Yeah, so then I'm going just to check the tire pressure, clean a bit inside, put some petrol, and yeah, I think that will be all. I already checked the oils, everything seems to be fine, and I think the car is almost ready to hit the road back again. So the car is cleaned, I checked the tire pressure. Interestingly, only the right side actually had a bit more, but it was still over 2 bars, so just like the original. So it looks like there's no tire pressure leakage or anything like that, which is, I think, quite a good sign. I also cleaned inside, and yeah, the car is ready to go. And we have a bit of the background of Üsküdar Harem coast. The only thing actually that worries me a little bit is that 2 days ago I had this kind of weird situation when I just sat inside. The car was for a few minutes outside, or let's say few minutes, actually for a few hours. And when I came back, the clutch pedal was very soft. Normally it's quite stiff. And I checked that sometimes this cylinder sleeve is losing that pressure. I hope it won't break down on the way, but after using the clutch just several times, it all went back to normal. And I also read on the internet that generally this kind of things happen, so it's quite common issue, but I didn't experience this kind of issue anymore, so hopefully everything will be fine. But so far it is the only thing that I would have some kind of worry about. But the engine, transmission, tires, everything looks perfect, so I don't think so there will be any problem.